Hey guys, you got Christina Gilchrist here, also known as the Dialysis Warrior Blind Chick. And I'm here with my Moosey boy, my Moose the Pomsky service dog. And...
Hey, what about me?
Oh yeah, Michael Gilchrist is here.
The caretaker.
And this is Living on Dialysis podcast.
And this is a disclaimer. We are not doctors. This is just the opinion of Living on Dialysis Facebook group. And always follow up any advice you have with your team and your doctors. And again, this is just an opinion. So if you don't like it, tell me yours. Bye. Alright guys, this is Mike.
And Christina.
And we will actually have the extreme opportunity to interview DAWN and Jimmie Bates. DAWN and Jimmie Bates, they were an inspiration from the very beginning. They gave... They're basically...
Basically, we want to be them.
Exactly. And honestly, I think that they're heroes of mine. Because they have laid the groundwork for home hemo to be out there, be doing everything that you want to be doing. So
I cannot even imagine how many lives you guys have touched and changed. And so literally getting to talk to you guys, I am like shaking because I'm so excited.
Yeah, and the only downfall that I can ever think of is the whole Harley Davidson thing with Jimmy. I mean, we really need to get you on a Yamaha, but we won't bash you too bad for that.
Yeah, we'll let that one slide for today.
Exactly. So
That's fair. I just like writing. I don't care what it is.
That's right.
There you go. That's awesome.
All right, so Dawn, Jimmy, introduce yourself and then tell us your story.
Okay, well, my name is Dawn, and my husband Jimmy is right here with me. We're Dawn and Jimmie Bates. We are based out of Dubuque, Iowa, and I say based because we haven't been there very much lately. Let me see. We'll go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
All right. Jimmy and I have known each other since we were 12 years old.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
At 12 years old, he walked up to me at my locker, and he told me I had the most beautiful eyes. And I said, thank you, and I giggled, and I walked away.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
And so he felt like a fool, for even saying it, which he shouldn't have. But he was always trying to ask me out, and I always had a boyfriend. And fast forward, we were always friends. Junior year, my boyfriend actually dumped me 3 days before homecoming.
Oh my gosh.
I said, you can take me to homecoming, and he said, okay, but I have to go talk to my girlfriend. And I said, no, you have to dump her. And then he said, well, I have to go see her. And I'm like, no, just call her. And he did, and then she started crying, and I said, just hang up the phone. I was horrible. I was a horrible, horrible person. I was.
Aren't you glad we grow out of that?
Oh, I would kill my daughter if she ever did that. Seriously.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, but when you know, you know.
It's true.
Right, and he always knew. He did. So
she was kind of a little brat, but I was always attracted to those kinds of girls.
Oh, there you go.
So, needless to say, over the year, I broke up with him 2 days after homecoming. Broke his heart.
Oh
but
my
we were
gosh.
always friends. I know. I told you I was horrible. So, 25 years after high school, we reconnected. A mutual high school friend of ours. I had been talking to him, and he's like, hey, do you ever talk to Jimmy? And I said, no, I haven't talked to him in years. And I was recently divorced. I just got divorced in January, and this was in March. And he says, well, I have his number. So I called him, and he didn't recognize the number. And so he called me back after he listened to the message. And from there, it was like we talked every day. And then at the end of the month, my kids were going to Florida with their dad. And I said, I'm going to come see you. Well, all these years, he only lived an hour away.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wow.
And he used to have a job that he was doing deliveries in my town every day and had no idea I was there.
Oh, my gosh.
So, needless to say, we reconnected, and it was a whirlwind romance. It really was.
So did Jimmy get married and all that too?
Or is he waiting for
never
you?
been married. He's got 2 kids.
Okay.
Got 2 kids. But he had never been married.
Okay.
And so when we reconnected and started dating, we had a conversation, and he's just like, just so you know, we're never getting married. And I said, oh, right, we are never getting married because I've been married and divorced twice. I suck as a wife. Forget it. It's not going to happen. And he's like, yep, it's not getting married. It's getting stupid. So, yeah, we're not going to do this. 5 months later, we were married, and it wasn't my idea. We were sitting there one night, and he goes, well, when we get married? And I'm like, I don't know who you're talking to because we're not getting married. And he said, oh, yes, we are. I'm like, no, we're not. And he goes, yeah, we are. And then, at that moment in time, we had probably the most grown-up conversation that I've ever had in my entire life. And it wasn't about, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, we're going to be together forever. It was about insurance. It was about medical stuff. It was about making sure that things are taken care of if one of us, mostly him, were to pass. He wanted to make sure he knew that I would take care of things.
Dawn, that is amazing,
Yeah.
because the exact same thing kind of happened with us. We both had our relationships in the past, and we were kind of the same thing. We weren't going to get married.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
she got really sick and it was one of those, I know your wishes better than anybody else.
Yep.
I can fulfill your wishes better than anybody else. And it was honestly kind of like a conversation, just an adult one. Hey, let's go get married. Because we actually had our wedding, and it was amazing just because it wasn't based just on love. It was based on everything.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you married Christina knowing that she was sick. I married Jimmy knowing he was sick, and knowing, it's like, he asked me, he goes, do you know what you're getting yourself into? And I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. I worked as a CNA. I worked as a med aide. I was a restorative aide. I've been in healthcare for a long time. Yeah, I know. I did not have a clue.
Yeah.
That's so
I
true.
did not. Yeah, I had no clue. And then, he was doing in center because when he was already on dialysis when we got together. He had crashed in 2008 due to high blood pressure, and he found out that his kidneys were kaput when he went to the eye doctor, believe it or not.
Oh, my
He
goodness.
he was having vision problems, and he went into the doctor, and they checked the pressures in his eyes. They saw bleeding behind his eyes, and they checked his blood pressure, and they sent him over to the emergency room, where they immediately took him to the cardiac unit. He had a TIA, and he started dialysis the next day.
Oh,
Wow.
my gosh.
It was that quick. Now, I was not in the picture at that time. So then, about a year and a half later, him and I connected, and the nurse, shortly after we were married, the nurse came up to him, because he transferred from his center in Cedar Rapids to our center here in Dubuque, and the home nurse said, hey, would you be interested in doing home dialysis? And he was like, nope, forget it. I don't want anything to do with it. I have a friend of mine who he was training to do peritoneal, and he died. Well, he died because he wasn't taking care of himself.
Right.
That's one of the biggest things that we see as an obstacle too. Of, well, I heard this person died. I'm like, well, yeah,
Right.
he had high blood pressure. His kidneys were failing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's keep talking about this though.
Exactly. So yeah, his friend was a heavy drinker. He didn't stop drinking.
Man.
He was still, he wasn't taking care of himself. Well, the thing is that guess what? Jimmy married a pushy woman. And I said, our center has the experience, the difference. And I'm like, look, just go try it out. If you don't like it, then go back to doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't know unless you try. And so he did. And needless to say, the very first day he felt better.
That's amazing.
When he was in center, he sincerely had 15 minutes to get home or he would pass out.
Yeah.
So get him
It's
home,
truly,
get some food into him, and he's in bed, and that's it. That's where he is for the rest of the day.
yeah. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking
It is.
because that's when, especially, he just got back together with the woman of his dreams, and you don't want to go home and spend the whole day in bed. You want to go and live life with that person.
Exactly. So we started training, and as you know, the training can be pretty intense.
Yep.
We trained for 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for 5 weeks, and went home. And yeah, it's not all unicorns and rainbows. And
Nope.
we have had our issues. I have shot blood across the living room floor. I have accidentally dumped a whole bag of saline into my husband.
Yep.
I told the nurse I was going to throw the machine out the window, and she said, "That's okay. I'll come help you bring it back in, and it'll be fine." So amazing support.
So did you
but
guys try PD at all, or did you go straight to home hemo?
we went straight to home hemo.
Okay.
All right.
That's awesome.
He didn't realize that when the nurse asked him if he wanted to do home dialysis, she was actually asking him if he wanted to do PD, and he shot her down immediately because his friend was training for PD and died.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Okay.
because he wasn't taking care of himself. But yeah, so it was like, nope. And I don't think we have any regrets with that.
Yeah, that's
because
awesome.
we all know that PD has a shelf life,
Yeah.
and it's different for everybody. But my whole thought is, why would I want to have a surgery to turn around in a few years and have to do another surgery and learn a new modality?
Yeah, it's true.
Agreed.
So that was back in 2009. We came home with the machine about August, September. We went to our first motorcycle rally. It was our first outing really away from home with the machine, and we went to a motorcycle rally and camped in a tent and ran off a generator.
Oh my gosh.
So did you say 2009?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have been doing home hemo for over 10 years?
Well, he did get a transplant in 2012.
Oh, okay.
So he did have a small break in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we started in 2009, and during that time I was working full time, and we had kids in the house with their busy schedules, and football and wrestling and volleyball and swim team and cheerleading and all the things, and it was like, my husband, I joke with him and I tell him, I said, you were wearing concrete shoes at that time in your life, because he would drag his feet to get on the machine. And so many nights he wouldn't get on until like 10 o'clock at night, and we would get done at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I would have to be to work at 6 in the morning. And it's like,
man.
Yeah. So after about 3.5 years of that, I got really burnt out, and it was like the second week in December, and I called the home nurse, and I told her, I said, I can't do this anymore. I said, I'm done. I'm crispy. I'm fried. I'm done. I can't do this.
Wow.
And I said, Iowa City said, that was where he was listed for transplant. Iowa City said he's going to get a kidney this year. They say that every year. They're liars. Well, a transplant center can't tell you when you're going to get a transplant.
Yep.
They don't know. All right. But I didn't know that. And so, I'm frustrated. The whole thing, I'm frustrated. And she's an amazing nurse. And the way she talks to you, it almost feels like the ocean is just kind of washing over you and calming you down.
Oh.
And she said, Dawn, she says, for Jimmie's sake and for your sake, I really do hope that he gets this kidney this year. But I hope for the donor family's sake, I hope it's not until after the holidays.
Oh.
And that's when it really occurred to me. Somebody's going to die for my husband to get a kidney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had not thought about that. And I thought, I am such a selfish person. I mean, seriously. And then 2 days later, we got a phone call from Jimmie's niece. And she needed to know what his information was at the transplant center because Jimmie's cousin had shot himself. And he was on life support, but he was brain dead. And his uncle was going to directly donate the kidney to Jimmie.
Oh, wow.
And that's where Jimmie got his kidney, was from his cousin.
Wow.
And so we were on both sides of that spectrum of the donor and the family. And, I truly believe that God did that for a reason. It really opened my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he had one amazing year with that kidney. I mean, he felt like a kid again. I mean, amazing. He was off and riding his motorcycle and playing with the grandkids and living life. And we went to Florida for Biketoberfest, and I mean, life was really good. And then a year later, he had an acute rejection. And he landed in the hospital for 2 weeks. IG infusions, plasmapheresis.
I know all of that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yep. And it was like, okay, we got this. And when he goes into the hospital, I go into the hospital, and I don't leave till he leaves. And that's how it's always been until COVID hit. COVID screwed that all up.
Absolutely.
So we got through that rejection. They saved the kidney. He was good. A year later, he had another chronic rejection.
Oh, man.
And a year later, he had another rejection. And then he started losing weight. And he had chronic diarrhea.
Oh,
and
no.
he lost over 100 pounds. And he truly looked like a very frail old man. He was cold all the time. It would be like 90 degrees outside, and he's in a hoodie and sweatpants and a stocking cap, and he's shaking. He's freezing. He has no muscle mass. He is truly wasting away.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching my husband, and we got appointments. They couldn't figure out what was going on, so they referred him to GI. We went to the University Hospital, the GI department. They found overgrowth of bacteria, in his intestines. So antibiotics. Well, what does antibiotics do? It gives you diarrhea.
Yeah.
So, it was like, I think we did that 2 or 3 times. And I'm the one that sends pictures. I send pictures to his team. I send pictures to his nurses. Look at this. This doesn't look right. I'm concerned about that. And I was messaging his GI doctor all the time, and I'm like, could it be this? No, that's rare. Could it be this? No, that's rare. Well, what about this? No, that's rare. Well, he ended up with Legionella pneumonia, which is not common, and ARDS, and we discovered that it was the mycophenolate that caused him to have all that diarrhea, his anti-rejection med.
Oh my gosh.
And he ended up on ECMO, and I don't know if you know what ECMO is.
No.
ECMO is like the highest level of life support.
Oh my gosh.
They gave him a 30% chance to survive, and 10 days later, he was walking out of that hospital.
Dang.
He was in an induced coma during this time. They had to shock his heart because he went into AFib. It was a very, very scary time. And so, truly, when he landed back on dialysis, I was never more happy.
Right.
Because I knew he was going to be okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we were, too. She was rejecting so bad. We were pumping so much stuff into her to, well, finally, dialysis was actually a good thing.
And like,
Yes.
and like losing that kidney is everything, you know, like it is
Yep.
it's such a tough decision to say, all right, we're done. But
Yep.
you get to that point where you have to.
Yes, absolutely, because it's going to take your life
Yeah.
if you don't,
You're right.
you know.
And
So-
with the losing the weight and looking frail and just muscle being gone, Christina went through the
Yeah.
exact same thing.
Exact.
And it was like I was asking everybody what the hell was going on. That's when they were doing plasmapheresis. I mean, and she
Yep.
was just kind of dwindling away, kind of
And
the same
I was
thing.
always cold, Jimmy.
Yeah, she it would be summertime and she would be in a hoodie, wrapped in a blanket, and
Yep.
it was exactly the same thing to where finally you're like, you know what? Enough is enough. You know?
It's like, we're done. And so, knowing what I know now, I would have pushed for them to put him back on dialysis sooner than what they did, because we spent 72 out of 90 days in the hospital from October to December that year. And so he started back on dialysis December 19th of 2017, was in center for just a couple of months. We did a quick retrain for home hemo, and in 8 days we were retrained.
Was he able to use his original fistula?
No.
No?
It had clotted off 6 months after his transplant.
Okay.
Wow.
So once again, he's got a permacath.
Right.
Okay. And, but because he was so malnourished and he had lost all this weight, they were giving him IDPN infusions. And so while we did the retrain, we learned how to run the IV machine and connect that to the dialysis machine. So he was getting his nutrition through his dialysis and putting on weight.
That is amazing.
That's amazing. Holy hell.
So in a matter of 3 to 6 months, he looked like the old Jimmy. You know, he was doing good. All right. He had muscle mass again. You know, he had gained some weight. He had energy, and he was ready to get out there and move, which was awesome.
That is amazing as the caregiver watching that transition too. I mean, you still worry about him, but it's kind of like when Christina was finally going to the gym again. She was being spunky. She was becoming herself again. It's almost a sigh of relief of, oh my gosh, we made it. You know?
Absolutely.
And it is for us too. As the patient, we're thinking like, how will we ever get through this? And then when you start to feel good again, it's like, dang, I gotta live now. I want my life.
Well, and you know, there were times when he was so sick. There were times that Jimmy said, I'm never going to feel better. I'm never going to feel better. And when the day that he was placed on ECMO, he looked at me, and he doesn't remember this, but he said, I'm not going to make it. And I said, yes, you are, because not making it is not an option.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. And he crashed in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. They started CPR on him, and then when they got him in there, they intubated him immediately.
Wow.
And I was in the ambulance with him.
Right.
So that's
terrifying.
That was hard to see, but I think I want to chalk it up to working in healthcare, that I was able to just kind of shut down my emotions, because his kids were racing to get to the hospital, and I knew I had to be strong for them.
Yeah.
because they have never seen their father like this. They have never seen him so frail. And to see him with, intubated and tubes and everything coming out of him, it was very scary for them. And so I'm just like, he's going to be okay. Just have faith. He's going to be, and I just knew he was going to be okay.
See, and that's kind of how I am as well. I am the extremely strong one. I'm the sarcastic one. I'm the one making jokes, just to secure everybody else. But on the inside, you're screaming because it's like your entire life is changing, and it's like, but again, you got to be brave and tough for everybody else to keep it going forward.
Absolutely. And the thing is that, it's like, I can talk about it, but guaranteed at some point I get very emotional when I talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a little bit of my PTSD from back then that kicks in. And it was scary. I almost lost him.
Yeah.
He is my best friend. He is the love of my life. And I can't imagine my life without him.
Yeah.
So today, you know what? We are all about, and at that point in time, truly at that point in time, it was like, well, we're going to do dialysis for the rest of our lives, and that's just it.
Okay.
Complete and total acceptance. This is what we were going to do.
Right.
And I was okay with that, where, just a few years before that, I'm like, I can't do this. This sucks. This is bad. And, now it's like, no, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this for the rest of our lives, and it's going to be fine. And then as time has gone on, 2 years into it, he says, I think I want to get listed again. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And he's like, no, I'm serious. And I'm like, okay, all right. Who am I to tell you no?
Yeah.
Right.
And he just doesn't want to shut that door. And I get that. So, he got, we went through the process. He got listed at the University of Iowa again. And then he got listed at Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. And it's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And he's been on the list for like 3 years now.
Whoa, it's coming up.
And, we've just been living each day to the fullest and enjoying life. And then, we had this opportunity to go out on the road and advocate, and we've jumped on that and I'm telling you, we have loved it so much that, as you know, we left our home April 15th this year to go do an RV tour, and we have not been back to our house.
See, and I find that part the most amazing is that how close are you guys to home?
Right now, we're about an hour, hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes from home.
And that is freaking awesome because you guys are choosing to stay in the RV, and that I love that. That is great. And kind of on the aspect of when you were talking about how dialysis is working.
Yep.
And to translate that to somebody that honestly is like kind of doing in-center, where they're miserable, they're cramping.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have no idea that this might be your forever, and it's workable.
After doing in-center, you would never believe that someone would say, okay, I would rather do dialysis. That's just out of your mind crazy.
Right.
And we're kind of in the same boat where she's listed, and, we're going to have to make that decision when we finally get that phone call.
But I don't know if I'll take it.
But it's one of those, she's rejected so hard,
Well,
dialysis is working.
I will tell you that we were on our way home from our tour, and it was the day before we got home. We got a message from a gentleman who had officiated our son's wedding.
Oh.
And his sister had overdosed. And she was on life support. And he wanted to donate a kidney to Jimmy. And so he's messaging us and messaging us and messaging us. And He wants to do this, and all I could say to him is, well, we haven't heard anything from the transplant center. That's all I could say to him.
Yeah.
And I asked Jimmy, I said, what are your thoughts? And he says, I'm just going to have to pray about this. Okay. And he was real quiet, real quiet. So I asked him, because this guy was like messaging me like almost daily. Yep, they're a match. Yep,
Wow.
they're going to harvest her organs on Friday. Yep, Jimmy's doctor accepted the kidney. Yep, and I'm going, okay. And again, Jimmy's not talking. And I looked at him and I said, whatever you decide, I got your back. Whatever you decide. And he's like, I know, and I appreciate that. So we got home on a Sunday, and on Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning, we got a phone call from the transplant center at Mayo Clinic. And the doctor said, I need to speak with Jimmy. She talked to Jimmy, and she said, I have a kidney that I need to offer you. And he said, hold on a minute. And he went in the bathroom and threw up.
Oh.
And she's talking to me, and she says, well, you know, transplant is better than dialysis. And I said, I beg to differ. I said, it's very individualized. And I said, not every dialysis patient should get a transplant.
It's true.
And she says, you're right. And I said, you know, we got to look at quality of life here. Quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, you're right. And she goes, I'm going to give you guys a couple of hours. You guys talk about it, and then I'm going to call you back. I said, okay, that sounds good. So we hung up, and we called his nurse. And this amazing nurse, she was on vacation, and she took my call. And we had a conversation, and she said, well, physically, he's in perfect shape to accept a kidney. But if he's not there mentally and emotionally, you may have problems. I said, you're right about that. She goes, you know the questions to ask, so you make sure you ask them.
Yeah.
Okay. So the doctor called back, and Jimmy and I had spoke about it, and I said, if this guy had not made it so personal, if he had not reached out to us, he made it personal. Jimmy would have very easily said, no, I'm not ready, give it to the next guy.
Right.
But because he messaged and he wanted to do this for Jim, he did. He made it personal, and we really appreciate what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, but it made it very difficult for Jimmy to make the decision. And so when the doctor called back, we said, all right, so we know that the blood type matches, you know, what's her creatinine? Well, her creatinine was 1.8. Okay, that's not a big deal because, you know, it would come down.
Yeah.
No problem. And, okay, so I said, what about the antibodies? Well, she doesn't have any, and he doesn't have any, even though he's already had a transplant.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay. Yeah, his PRA is 0.
That's because
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his PRA is 0. He has no antibodies, and I'm telling you, it's a miracle. It is. It's a true miracle.
I'm at 88% antibodies.
Yeah.
So that is insane.
That's because of the plasmids.
She had that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've rejected twice.
She had the plasma lupus.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, you know, no antibodies, but understand that she overdosed.
Yeah.
Right.
So that made her high risk.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, it's a high risk kidney. And we don't know how long she used for. We don't know what damage she did to herself.
Yep.
But then the most important question, what's that antigen match? What's the number? Now we know a 6 is a perfect match.
Yeah.
And everyone below that is a better chance of rejection. Her antigen was 1.
Oh, wow.
So it was a no-brainer. We are not doing it. Forget it. It wasn't anything personal at that point in time. This is not a good kidney for Jimmy.
Yeah.
So, and then at that point, do you know what my husband did?
What?
He took himself off the transplant list.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep. He said, you know what? I feel good. I'm loving my life. I'm living my dream right now. I'm still accruing time. And in the spring, I'll take a look at where I'm at. And if I feel like I want to get back, activated back on that list, then I'll do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep doing me.
Now,
wow.
And watching you guys' story has been absolutely amazing. I remember it was recently, within the last couple weeks, you posted a picture of his filter, his dialysis filter, and it looked brand new. I was so floored that it was a used dialysis filter. And then you explained to me how often you guys are doing dialysis. How often are you guys doing it?
Jimmy chooses to do it 7 days a week.
Wow.
Because he feels good. So he does. And I will tell you, he not only does he do it 7 days a week, but he also asked if he could slow down his blood flow rate. Because we know that, home hemodialysis is gentler on your body and on your heart than those big in-center machines.
Right.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
But we also know if you slow down that blood flow rate,
it's even better.
That's even better, okay? And then, you know what we did? We slowed down the UF rate as well.
Okay.
Really?
So he's getting a very deep cleaning. So and we don't have an iPad. We're in a private center. We're in an independent center. So we paper chart everything. So he's running right now. And tonight, his UF should have been 1.0. Okay,
yeah.
That's what I would have put in there. And no, I put in 0.8.
Okay.
Wow.
So I slowed it down because then he gets a deeper cleaning. It gets it deeper into the molecules. And slower is better.
And you guys going about 250, don't you?
We were running 350.
350, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we were trained to run at 450.
Right.
And our amazing team, we love them, but when we went to them and said, hey, we want to slow down the blood flow rate, it was like, okay, well, his treatments are going to be longer.
Longer, yeah.
And what is your point? We're looking at the big picture here. We're looking at quality of life. We're looking at, he's got 2 stents already in his heart, okay? He's got a stent in his fistula. Seriously, let's preserve those.
Yeah, right. Wow. That's incredible.
Your guys' story is absolutely amazing. I suggest everybody goes and follows Dawn and Jimmie Bates, either through the Living on Dialysis page or the other pages that they're on. They are absolutely amazing, just watching them go from state to state, and it's absolutely amazing. Jimmy always has his motorcycle shorts on. He's got his hair pulled back in a ponytail. I mean, these guys are just badass.
They're killing it. So I have a question. I have a question for you. Were you guys ever made aware of why he rejected?
No.
So it's
we really
still...
have no idea. We really don't. I think that he was having issues with his mycophenolate. But that very first acute rejection, we have no clue. No clue. Wow. It came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, his blood pressure shot up. He wasn't feeling good. He started swelling up.
Oh no!
It was very sudden. We really have no idea what caused it, because he took his meds exactly when he was supposed to. He drank, and that's so hard to do for a patient who has been on dialysis, because they're told don't drink, don't drink,
yep,
don't drink,
don't
and all
drink.
of a sudden you get a kidney, and it's like drink.
Right.
It actually makes you physically sick.
Right. I bought him a cup that would alarm and remind him to drink. He hated that cup. He doesn't like to be told what to do. No, at home we have Alexis, and she'll say it's set up at 9 and 9, and she'll say, Jimmy, it's time to take your medication. And then 15 minutes later, she says, Jimmy, I said take your damn meds.
Yep.
I love it.
See, and that's, I swear, we were like kind of molded identical, because I bought Christina one of those water bottles as well, and I'd come home from work and I'd look at it and I'm like, hey, this thing only says 12 ounces. And she's like, it's lying. I'm like, well, it doesn't lie. It tracks how much you drank.
It just needed to be recalibrated.
Uh-huh. So, I mean, it's funny as hell. And what the biggest thing that I get out of your guys' story, and what we're realizing very quickly, is that transplant isn't the final option.
It's not.
That,
it's just a treatment.
And
Yep.
and for the new dialysis patient to fathom in their mind that dialysis can be comfortable. I mean, of course, it's not, heaven and rainbows, but the fact that it can be comfortable, and it can, and it, like Christina says, I feel like I have better kidney function on dialysis than she did when she actually had her transplant.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the big factors that we have to think about as well, just like you guys did, is when we finally get that call.
Yeah, do we...
It's that
we
whole
take
quality of life thing of, okay, we don't know why she rejected, and it would have to be one of those 100% match. All the numbers line up where I honestly don't know what we'll do.
I don't know either.
And it's just going to be kind of one of those things.
You don't know. You don't know until you're in that position.
Yeah.
But, for someone like yourselves and for us that have been through it, I don't want to say that we've been tainted. I think that the rose-colored glasses have come off.
I agree. Yes.
And we can see reality for what it truly is.
Yep, it's true.
And just with these groups and being introduced to you guys, Sam and Lacey, the power that you guys have given us to actually speak up and talk, and it's like, well, dialysis sucks. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Why are you guys saying that?
It doesn't have to, yeah.
Right.
It's kind of like, we had an example this week where they were like, well, dialysis isn't going to feel good, so just keep doing it. I'm like, no. Hell with you guys. We're getting a different opinion. Right. And,
so I have a question. So Jimmy, do you have a fistula right now?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so are you guys cannulating 7 days a week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
I have buttonholes.
He has buttonholes.
okay.
Oh, okay, awesome.
All right.
That's amazing.
All right,
Always
so
had buttonholes.
I just wanted to thank you guys for talking to us. Jimmy, you talked way too much. Next time,
Yeah.
let's calm it down a little.
You need to be quiet next time.
And we always wrap this up by, I just kind of want an example of Dawn and Jimmy. How are you guys living on dialysis?
Oh my God! I'll tell you what. When I look at where we were years ago in the beginning, and I look at where we are now, and we are living every single day to the fullest. As you know, we are truly living in our RV. Wherever we go, we're home because we have our house with us, and we don't let anything hold us back.
Dawn and Jimmy, you guys, go ahead. Sorry.
That's right. Like the side of the trailer says, it says spend your day your way. That's what I want to do. I have to do a dialysis to keep me going, but after that, it's my day. I'm going to do what I want.
See, and I love that.
I think that we have got, I know as a care partner, as his care partner, as his wife, I want him to have the best quality of life he can for as long as he can.
Yeah.
And we know tomorrow is not promised to a single one of us, whether you got kidney disease or not.
Yep.
We can, Michael and I can get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Yep.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. So we just focus on that quality of life, and living every day to the fullest.
See, and that's kind of the same thing that when we talk about Christina and her health and all that stuff, And again, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but damn it, she's going to go out with a smile on her face.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
I just wanted to thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
And hopefully our next conversation will in the RV right next to you.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you we are going to come and have coffee with you guys. And, I mean, you guys are just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and just know, you guys have been such a gift to the dialysis world. And all that you've given to others is just, honestly, we cannot repay you guys for what you've given to all of us.
So, I just want to thank you. And this is Mike.
And Christina.
And Dawn and Jimmy. And thank you so much for listening.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for having us.
You got it.
All right, Fall. It's starring Virginia Gardner, Grace Polton, and also Jeffrey Morgan, best known from The Walking Dead. Four best friends, Becky and Hunter. Life is all about conquering fears and pushing limits. However, after they climb at 2,000 feet to the top of a remote abandoned radio tower, they find themselves stranded with no way down. The previews before the movie are Barbarian. Looks pretty good. It reminds me of The Ring. Marvel's Wakanda Forever. Of course, that's going to be good. Smile. Looks creepy, but looks good. And then Don't Worry, Darling. They've advertised this a whole bunch, so I hope it's as good as what they've been advertising. Breaking. Looks pretty good. It's a bank robbing movie, and some veteran wants some stuff that he feels he's entitled to. So there's some underlining issue why he's actually robbing the bank. Looks pretty cool. And then The Invitation. It looks good. It's like a cult type movie where the girl is being hunted or whatever. And that ties into that. The Beast. It's the Lion movie, but I'm pretty sure it's going to have a bit of a poaching and stuff like that go along with it. And then, of course, that stupid Nicole Kidman commercial. AMC, stop showing it. It is stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. It makes me want to punch babies and kick puppies. And so here is the preview.
Thing happened to you. I just want you to be able to move on with your life.
Come here. It's coming up on a year. I have something that's planned, and I need a partner in crime.
The B67 TV decor. I haven't climbed since...
Becky, if you don't confront your fears, you are always going to be afraid.
Let's do it. Let's climb your stupid tower.
I'm so excited. Hey guys. Hi.
I was really ripped.
You're awesome. That is the Becky that we need for this trip.
This is sick. Damn it, Hunter. What are you getting us into?
Okay, so just stay behind me, one rung at a time. See? It's easy. You're doing great. Becky, you gotta come up here. Hey, trust me. What was that? Hunter, how do we get down? We don't have a signal.
The water is out there in that bag.
We have 50 feet of rope.
I think I can drop myself lower. Okay, I'm gonna jump onto the bag. Hunter, no! Hunter!
Every hour that passes, the weaker we get. If anyone called 911, we'd be here by now. What is it that Dan used to say? If you're scared of dying, don't be afraid to live.
All right, we just finished watching Fall. and it is nuts. Christina?
I hated it. Every minute of it is so intense. I almost had a heart attack like 50 times, and I now have gray hair.
I think I agree with Christina. I felt sick to my stomach. It was very intense. If you're into that, go see it. If you're not, and you don't want to feel like you're gonna die the entire movie, even though you're not in it.
And if you have heart issues, bring a defibrillator, just in case.
The best part was listening to Christina. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Like every 2 seconds. Oh my, oh my. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was great. So if it's like on the edge of your seat, just cliffhanger basically the entire thing.
Literally.
Go see it. It was amazing, I think. What do you call a condescending bear? A panda.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so Easter Sunday, starring Joe Joy, Jimmy O Yang, Tia Carter, which if you remember the chick in Wayne's World, you're gonna feel old as hell. Because she's the freaking grandma. I know. Brandon Waddell, a whole bunch of funny people. It's about a man returning home for Easter celebration and just how bickering, eating, laughing, and the problems that come with family. If your family celebrates like this for Easter, oh my God, the Tingies go all out. When I first met Christina, I swear they should have just called it Christmas 2. It is over the top, but it's also an amazing thing her parents do. Robin and Randy, you guys do amazing. The previews before the movie are Marvel's Wakanda Forever. Looks really good. Smile, which looks extremely interesting. Shazam 2, which looks funny as hell, and I can't wait to see this. The Invitation, Steel World, and some Clue-type movie, goalie vampire show. Bros, it's a gay pride movie, and it looks funny. Tickets to Paradise, it has Julia Roberts and George Clooney, and it looks funny, but I think they were maybe playing it up too much. And of course, the so bad, the so terrible AMC Nicole Kidman commercial. AMC, stop playing it. But here you go, and here's the theatrical trailer for Easter Sunday.
Joseph, are you coming for Easter?
I don't know, Mom. I'm really busy. I just tested for this pilot.
You're going to be a pilot?
A network pilot for like a TV show.
Ah, you're playing a pilot on the TV show.
No, a lawyer.
You could have been a lawyer if you only applied yourself.
Little father and son road trip. It's gonna be fun. Easter Sunday is like the Filipino Super Bowl. There he is. There's my kuya.
Welcome home, bro. See you tonight, okay?
I just got here.
You got to follow your dream and become a beer spokesman.
That was my dream. Let's get the party started, baby!
And I got to follow mom's dream and become a nurse.
Joe?
Vanessa.
Yeah, Joe Valencia. You still driving that same raggedy-ass car? What happened? You just gave up, huh? And this your dad? You know, me and him used to be real intimate back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I could have been your mama. But clearly I'm not.
Yeah.
I've literally never seen this many Filipinos in the same place before.
We're sending gifts to our family in the Philippines. I'm sending this brand new hairdryer. If it makes your hair look like that, I wouldn't send it.
How dare you?
How dare you?
We should put them both in the box and ship it.
My mom is at war with my Tita Teresa, and they don't even know why. Did you really have to wear the same dress as my mom?
Oh, I can't help it if I wear it better. This is war. Oops.
Family is a mess.
We're counting on you to fix it. Bye!
Ladies and gentlemen, we're all we got. So let's get the party started, baby! I got a feeling. Moments like these are few and far between. Let's enjoy it. Everyone buckle up.
Filipino families fight a lot,
Make sure you're not late for dinner.
but we love a lot too.
Your cousin Eugene owes me a lot of money. Could you lend it to me?
No!
Does he have a death wish? Deluxe is legit crazy. I once saw him shoot somebody in the dick.
What?
Right in the actual hole.
In the hole.
Where is my money.
Here are my ATM cards. My PIN number is 1217. Oh, so is mine. No, ours.
Mine too. Mine too. Yeah.
Why do you all have the same PIN number?
It's Manny Pacquiao's birthday.
Oh, right. The guy who couldn't beat Mayweather.
Nessa, can we go get coffee?
You can go ahead and email me. Pretty much the same. Just take the AOL off.
That bitch Nessa at dailycity.gov. Got it.
All right, hey guys, we went and saw Easter Sunday, and well, I thought it was terrible. But Ty, what did you think?
I think I had good jokes every once in a while.
Ty was hilarious on it. You would watch over, you would look over, and she would just be smiling, grin to grin. She was just laughing back and forth, and I even
had stupid humor.
Well, I trust me, I'm the king of stupid humor, but Tyler would just I would tap Christina and be like, oh my God, look at her. There's something wrong with her.
Well, that's just me.
So, Christina, what did you think?
So I thought it was dumb. They had a couple funny jokes, but honestly, Tyler was more entertaining than the movie.
And I thought it was dumb too. It was a really hard attempt at doing a stand-up and making the movie, and it was just awful. Don't even bother going seeing this one. Oh, and Ty, what kind of noise does a witch's vehicle make?
Broom, broom.
Yeah!
I got it!
Howdy, this is Michael, and this is Intimate Sessions. Nah, just kidding. This is Michael.
And Christina.
And we're living on dialysis, and we are doing a touchy subject today. It is relationships and intimacy. So, the few things that, like I said, I do the boring stuff. Christina is the cool one. So, there's common sexual issues associated with chronic kidney disease. In men, decreasing interest in sexual activity, difficulty achieving or maintaining an erection, difficulty achieving ejaculation, fear of rejection, feeling of inadequacy, and concerns of body issue. And on the women, it is decreased interest in sexual activity, difficulty in achieving sexual arousal, difficulty in achieving orgasm, sexual pain, feeling of inadequacy, difficulty with pregnancy and high-risk pregnancies, and concerns about body image. Now, these are the causes and factors that usually associate the sexual issues with chronic kidney disease. Sleep disorder, hypertension, high blood pressure, and I didn't even think about this one, but change in role or identity within the family. So,
yeah, that one's a big one.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that one to be associated with that. So
yeah, that one is really big.
Yeah, depression. And I was doing some looking into the depression side of it, and they said, they did a study, and 60 to 95% of people with high toxins in their body, so pretty much dialysis, caused depression. So it's not just in the mind. They say that it's part of the toxins that are in your body as well.
That's insane.
Yeah. So whether it was just a study, so whether that's true or not, but, if you got toxins in you, you feel like crap.
Yeah.
And if you feel like crap, you're going to be depressed. You're going to be sad. You're going to be,
It's true.
So, another big one is body image, and we'll actually talk quite a bit about that. Physical discomfort, that's a big one.
Yeah.
And anxiety. Anxiety was a huge one when they were doing the study as well. That they were working themselves up way, way, way too much that they couldn't get aroused because they put pretty much a blocker in their head.
Really?
Yeah. Uremia, which is the extra blood in the waist. Or extra waste in the blood, sorry, the other way around. Medications is a huge one. Yeah. Anemia, low blood count, leg cramps, and other medical issues. So there's the physical side that gets in the way, pain, fatigue, hormone imbalance, and then there's the emotional side. Grief, fear of rejection, failed performance, depression, anxiety, body image concerns, guilt, and then again, they mentioned the change in the family law. So basically, main thing is that you're not alone on this.
Yeah, this is not like just one person. And I know, like, when I've gone through some of these things, I didn't know it was going to happen. And when it did happen, I almost thought, oh gosh, what did I do to cause this? And then you actually get the nerve to talk to your doctor, and then you finally realize, okay, I'm not the only one who this happened to.
See, and that's where Google and talking to your doctors can come in, and the Living on Dialysis Facebook page, where by just taking a certain medication with another one could be night and day of what it's doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't know the exact formula of what we had back in the past. But, I mean, we mentioned it to our doctors, and, you know, we had it addressed. And
yeah, we've tried different concoctions of medications. And, you know, like, for me, a big one for me is I did not realize that I've heard that it doesn't always happen, but I didn't know that there was a possibility of a female not having their period because of kidney failure. And so I stopped having a period just months into it. And of course, I was so embarrassed to go talk to my male doctor about it. So I held off. And the whole time I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, what have I done? Did this medication ruin my female organs? And I was stressing about everything. And then I finally got the nerve and just asked my doctor, and he says, oh yeah, that can happen. And I'm like, oh, why wouldn't you give me a heads up, you know? And these are things that the doctors and the nurses just don't warn you about, but they're big things that scare the crud out of you when they happen.
And to be honest, I think they hear it so much that it's, oh yeah, we should have told you about that.
Yeah.
Because it's a common thing. Depression, you lose sexual desire. Pain, you're going to lose that stuff. You know, so I think this should be actually something they talk about at the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know, because like with men, at least on the men's side, they say with just by prescribing Viagra, it actually is night and day with them. And really? I know it's a sensitive subject for men to go and talk to a doctor because, you know, it's like, I'm a manly man. You know,
yeah, and that's the thing,
I'm
though.
strong.
Like, it's crazy, though, that, like, we base a man and his strength off his, like, fertility and his ability to perform, for lack of a better word. And it's so insane because, like, these men who are fighting kidney failure are some of the strongest men out there. And for some reason, in their minds, like, the feeling inadequate, I can only imagine what they're going through, because for some reason it's always been, if men can't perform, they're just not powerful, and that's so not the case.
See, and it also goes to the women's side of, at least in the man's opinion, you know, to put it frankly, do I make you wet? And it is a common thing, you know, because of arousal and that just happens automatically. But you have to remember, with a dialysis patient, fluids is an issue.
Yeah.
And it isn't because you're not performing right or you know, they don't find you attractive. It is just because some days they just do not have the fluid.
Yeah.
And, you know, bringing in a lubricant can do wonders.
Yeah.
So always have, you know, I would honestly say always have that on hand, especially with dialysis and stuff like that. So, let's talk about at the very beginning. You know, when we met each other, you were extremely healthy. You were doing the gym twice a day, and let's just say we performed extremely well all the time.
There was success.
Yes, success like all the freaking time. And, you know, just like any relationship, it starts to calm down a little bit. You get out of the honeymoon phase and stuff like that, you know. And we were in the process of trying to save your kidney. So we were pumping you full of so many medications.
Yeah, it was hard.
And, you know, the littlest thing would get you sick. But this was our prime of our relationship. This was like this should be where we're doing it every 10 seconds.
Yeah, we're rabbits.
And that's just not the case.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Because, you know, she's going to be in pain. She's having low blood count. She's in doing chemo medicine. And I remember we kind of gave up on trying to save your kidney.
Yeah.
Basically because it was, you know, what was it doing to the rest of your body. But I remember we started PD.
But I think during that time, though, when we were doing the medication and that, I was going, like, I was in a point where I was a wife. Well, we weren't married yet, but I hadn't been in a relationship for 14, 15 years before that. So I was at this point where I had a man that I just adored, and he meant everything to me, and I knew he was going to be my husband, and he was going to be in my life forever. And so in my mind, I was so hard on myself, because if I didn't feel well and I felt like I couldn't have sex, half the time I would force myself to, because I wanted, that's a wife and the partner I wanted to be. I didn't want to be, oh, sorry, I don't feel good, I can't tonight. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to, even when I was hurting, to try to just push past that. And I get the inadequacy, because I played mind games with myself for a long time. And even though, like, you were crazy supportive, I still, in my mind, you kind of have to find a way to get through it on your own.
Yeah, I get that. Oh, okay, that's blood pressure. As you know, we're doing treatment right now. But on that, I think communication is extremely important as well.
Yeah.
Because inside, she's fighting this battle. And I remember in particular there was, I want to say it was like Valentine's Day, or it was a 1 year anniversary thing or something like that. And you just was so exhausted, so tired that you could not, that it wasn't even going to be part of the equation.
Yeah.
And I remember you coming out of the bedroom and just crying because your mind knew what we should be doing.
Yeah.
But your body just could not. And, you know,
and, like, mentally, like, I don't want to let you down, you know? Like, I don't want to be the one who ruins the anniversary, or, do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to hold that on your shoulders.
And I think we do just fine in that department, so
yeah.
It's not a big deal.
And I think that's because, though, we communicated so much about it. Like, we had numerous conversations together about how I was feeling, and you would say, listen, this is how I'm feeling. I know I watched you go through these treatments today. I know you're not feeling good. Like, please don't think you have to do something. And I think we really communicated it with each other really well.
I think so too, and I think on the times that we could, we did, and on the times you can't, we just didn't.
Yeah.
You know, and it was an understanding that you just didn't feel good.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll go ahead and talk about PD and insecurities. I mean, with any dialysis patient, by the time they're on dialysis, they have had so many surgeries that they've lost count. So they have scars, they have
Lots
a fistula,
of scars.
they have, so many scars that, like I said, you can't even add them up. So you have body image with that.
Yeah.
Then you had a CVC at that time. You had a PD tube coming out of your stomach.
Yep.
And I remember one day that you just came out of the bathroom and you just started sobbing.
Yeah.
And I remember you looking at me going, and you said, "I look like a robot."
Yeah.
And this is where, and if you've listened to the podcast or been on the group, this is where the helicopter came in.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, my job is to make Christina laugh. That's it. Everybody else can do whatever, but my job is just to make her laugh. And I remember her coming out and she was just sobbing, saying, "How can you even look at me?" And I remember getting up, and I hate to give you guys the visual, but I remember just going over to her and going, "Okay, we're having a helicopter contest right now."
Yep.
And she looks at me and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's see who can do the helicopter better." And if you don't know what it is, you're pretty much thrusting your body to make it look like a helicopter.
Yeah.
So we had her do that with the PD tube, and I'm doing my best as well. And it just made her laugh.
And we're both just laughing our butts off, and it totally got my mind off of going there.
And honestly, it gets your mind off the depression part of it, and that might actually help with the next step of actually being intimate. But honestly, just be open and talk to them, because after dialysis or the clamping and stuff like that, they're just not in the mood.
Yeah.
And you just have to kind of understand that.
And I know, like, with me, certain things hit me harder than others. When I got my fistula, I was young, and I didn't care for some reason. I never had that I want to cover it up moment. Because for some reason, it never hit me. But then when I got my chest catheter placed, for some reason, for me, I felt like it took away all of me being feminine. It took away, like, in my mind, me being a female. And it made, for some reason, it just made me feel like I got nothing to offer anymore.
See, and as a guy, I can tell you that was the last thing I was thinking about. I was just moving that tube out of the way to touch your boobies. So, I mean, and I know women, all the emotional side and stuff like that. Women, we don't care. We do not care. We don't care if a tube is coming out of your stomach. We don't care if a tube is coming out of your chest. We don't care if you have a bumpy arm from a fistula. All we care about is that we get to touch boobies. That's it. I would like to say we're emotional and all that stuff, and we just want to hold you and do what? No, we want to touch boobies.
Okay, wait a minute. You want to do that emotional hold you stuff too, right?
No, I just want to touch boobies.
Michael.
Oh, okay, fine. We can do the emotional bull crap stuff and everything too.
Okay, good.
But honestly, we just want to touch boobs. We don't care what we have to push out of the way or anything like that. Women, we just want to see them. That's it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, honey.
And so I was looking into some of this stuff too when we were looking up the problems with sexual desire and stuff like that. One of the main things is if you can do dialysis more often, they say your sexual desire comes back quite a bit. So that's something to consider about doing home hemo as well.
And PD.
And also something to remember with PD is you are going to have a distended stomach when you do PD. They are putting 2,000 milliliters inside of you. and you are not going to feel attractive. But again, as a guy, I don't care. I just want to touch a boobie.
And I think, like, I remember in the very beginning thinking when I had the fluid on that I looked enormous. And then, like, I learned very quickly, everybody that was, like, in my family and my friends, I would be self-conscious about it, and they would be like, you look normal. You look the same as always. And so I think, yeah, like, it's not as noticeable as you think. And nobody, if you're going in the grocery store, say you did a day manual or anything, nobody is going to look at you in any fashion different than they normally do.
Yep. And something else to remember when you're on PD, that when you have your period, if you are still having them, that, or even your monthly cycle, even though you're not showing you're having it, you are going to have some lead discharge in your, when you drain. Don't panic. You know, definitely.
They say that if you have blood in the bag for one night, it's fine. But night 2, if you have it again, then you need to call your nurses and definitely contact your nurses. Let them know what's going on, but do not panic about a light pink color. Well, sometimes it's even darker. Like, and I've had times where it was pretty red, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I got a serious issue. And it was just a period.
Right, but it lightened quite a bit throughout your session throughout the night. So that's kind of what I mean is, at the very beginning, yes, definitely be alarmed, write it down, talk to your clinic about it.
I actually remember when I started PD, anybody who's on PD knows that you have to take in a full night sample every once in a while, and they test it, and that's how they check your adequacy and everything. Well, my first time taking in the sample was the first time I had blood in my bag. And I thought I had done something wrong. I had screwed up. Something that I did caused this to happen, and I literally had to take my bags in, and they were bloody. And as soon as I gave it to my nurse, she's like, not a big deal, you're good. And it was just nothing. But to me, I was mortified because I'm thinking of all the things I did wrong. And you're not doing anything wrong. It's your body adapting to this, and just remember to give yourself a break.
See, and I think too that's a body image, self-image thing as well, because I remember you freaking out about it, and I'm just like, yeah, it's a pink bag. Okay.
Yeah, but it's scary when it's you.
No, I get that. And that actually reminds me of an example of when I first started the page. I can't remember her name, and of course I wouldn't say it. But there was a woman that messaged me, and she was talking about her line being red and pink and stuff like that.
And she was terrified.
And I remember asking her, I'm like, okay, definitely talk to your team. And I asked her if she was menstruating on her period, and she said no. And I was like, okay.
Really
I don't
personal.
want to get personal, and if you don't want to answer, that's totally fine. But have you had sex within 2 days? And she's like, well, yeah, I had it yesterday. And I'm like, okay. Again, talk to your team, talk to your doctors, stuff like that. But on some days, when I like to say I'm on the top of my game, I'm just, it was a good session. She would have blood coming out, or
in my bag,
in her bag, and we quickly realized that when we were intimate, or I had a great session, that she would have a pink bag sometimes.
Yeah.
So don't freak out. Again, talk to your team because it could be an issue.
Yeah.
But I remember this. She was a young 20-year-old, and she was just
so terrified.
petrified. And I remember just saying, okay, calm down. And I remember even asking her, I'm like, well, was it kind of rough? She's like, well, yeah. I'm like, okay, it's probably this.
Yeah.
And I remember that was one of the first times you actually ever called a patient.
And talked to
her, and she calmed her down. And, you know, because honestly, this 20-year-old didn't want to talk to me about this. And at that time, you know, I was translating what Christina was saying, and that was the first time that we kind of reached out, and she talked to her, and, you know, calmed her down, and it ended up being nothing. So,
so it's definitely like you're gonna have mind games. You're gonna have physical problems. You're gonna have those things, and I think you need to really give yourself a break. Understand that your body is going through something that is insanely difficult. And I think sometimes we just kind of see it as, yeah, we do dialysis and we move on. But we have a condition where if dialysis wasn't there, we wouldn't be here. And that's a huge condition.
And on top of that, you have medication that you have to account for.
Yep. And I know depression medication can cause lots of issues with you having a sex drive.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are just so many things that can be accounted for this.
Yeah.
And I will honestly tell the guys, man up, stop it. It's not everything. Especially when they're in pain, or, you know, some days they just want to come out of the bathroom and cry.
Yep.
Just let them cry. They will most likely the next day do whatever you want, but sometimes they just need a good tear duct cleaning.
And for the women, like, make sure your man knows he is the man. Make sure, and you don't, if you're not doing it sexually, then do it in other ways. Just make him proud of who he is, and just build that self-confidence, because being that insecure, and I know as a female, we're usually insecure. We all have our body issues, you know, we have our stuff, and that all is awful, and it's all hard. But for a man is supposed to be the provider, and we've got all these rules that a man should be. And for them to feel like they're inadequate in that area must be crazy difficult. So take the time, make extra comments, and just let him know that he is a man and that he means the world to you.
Okay, so that's enough mumbo jumbo about sex and intimacy and stuff like that. Again, just remember, don't take it personal. And also, if you are not feeling the desire, talk to your team. Don't be shy about it. Don't be, you know, because you could go 2 to 3 years or 4 years. The doctor coming and, you know, you mention it to your doctor and it's like, oh yeah, it's because of this pill.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
And sometimes it's that simple. Yeah. Just change one pill.
Yeah, they may just be like, oh, you're taking this pill and this pill. Yeah, let's put you on this generic then.
And understand that you're not the first person asking them this. Like, every time I would ask questions, I thought I was the only one going through it. And you're not. All of us are.
Yep.
So we're all asking the doctors. So these doctors, they've been asked it hundreds of times.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, basically, keep on doing the deed.
Yeah.
And relationships can
be
handle.
good to each other.
And honestly, if you do have questions or you do have some concerns as the caretaker or the warrior, reach out to us, because I guarantee you, you're not alone. It's like this girl that reached out to us, you know, early 20s. She thought she was dying, and it was, no, it's this.
Yep.
You know, so again, talk to your team, but reach out.
And it's definitely, it's definitely private, but like, don't get in your head too much, because when you do, you hold these things in and you're just causing yourself more mental anguish, and you already got enough.
Yep. So if you do have any questions, you can leave a comment on the podcast, or you can reach out to us.
Well, Mike, how was your last week?
Well, how was yours?
Well, mine, I went in for surgery on Friday.
Yep.
Everything went really well. It's kind of funny because I had a blood clot removed from my fistula, and so I have extra skin there. And so the doctor, like, sewed it so weird that I have, like, a pocket that I can kind of put my finger in. I was talking to my dad and telling him about the pocket, and he goes, well, what are you going to put in it? And I was like, I don't think I'll ever have to buy gum again, because I'll just chew my gum and then put it in my pocket. And when I need it next, I'll just pull it out and chew the gum again. So we got a really good laugh about that. So I have this pocket, and I hopefully will never put gum in there. But
yeah,
it's really funny to think about.
See, and on this one, it actually hit me emotional, because I was actually extremely upset, because the graft, one, we've been spending months and months getting this graft ready. I took time off work. We went down to Salt Lake numerous times to have it placed, to have it done, and she was having pressure buildup. Why she was having pressure buildup, nobody knows.
Yep.
That's why she had surgery on Friday, to go in there and look around, and everything looked fine.
Yep.
So, Monday or Tuesday, we cannulate it. So I stab it with a needle, and about half an hour in, we had to stop because she had pressure.
Yep.
And, it kind of hits me. I take it personal, because I'm the one sticking the needle, and, she's in pain, and I don't like causing her any pain. But I remember she called the doctor, and the doctor had enough nerve to say, well, yeah, it's gonna hurt. It's dialysis. And I'm like, what the hell? He wanted to still stick this graft, even though she was in pain. And that's where and why I started the group that we have. No, that is absolute horseshit.
And honestly, there's a lot of times where you're going to have things happen where a doctor will tell you, like, either it's, like he was saying, it might be phantom pain, which it's not. I feel it. I know what it is, and they're going to tell you, hey, this isn't possible. It's not happening. And you're going to have multiple times where that happens. And I'm now going to a different doctor here in a couple days to get his opinion on it. And don't be afraid to go see another doctor. Get that second opinion, and sometimes you may need a third or fourth. Like, I have had multiple times where they can't find out what it is. And then 6-7 months later, it's like, oh, wait, it's abdominal adhesion. Like,
yep.
That's why you've been hurting this whole time. I got told that I was not having the pain that I was having. And I am telling them, listen, I got no reason to make up this pain. And I'm still being told, doctor after doctor after doctor, you don't have anything, everything came back clear. And then we end up having a surgery. They go in, and sure enough, I have abdominal adhesion, which is causing pain across my entire abdomen. But no doctor could find that. So definitely, know that there are other doctors, and you never know when you're gonna walk in that office and the doctor's gonna say, I know exactly what that is.
Yep. And that's why it's extremely important. And my mom has taught this ever since I was a little kid, when we had Rebecca. And Mom, you're awesome. You kick ass, by the way.
Yep.
And Betty, you're cool. Is she always says, ask the question 3 times. Especially if you get a no. Ask it 3 times. Because by the second time, they're going to think about it. And by the third time, they're actually going to consider, oh, wait, maybe you can. Or,
yep.
Oh, wait, maybe it's this. So if you don't get the answer that you want, ask it at least 3 times.
Yeah,
and get
that
multiple
may be,
opinions.
That may be 3 times to someone else.
Yep. So that really pissed me off this week, and I am so glad we had the group, because honestly, a lot of you guys have given me a lot of power to stand up to the doctors and be like, no. Because how many of us have just done what the doctor has said?
So many.
And doctors make mistakes too.
They are humans, just like we are.
They're freaking awesome. When you find a good one, you found a good one.
Yep.
But they're also human. The next day, they are still doing a human task.
And to be honest, doctors are trained in their field. And so sometimes it verges into another field, and they just don't know.
Yep, so that's pretty much how our week went. So we're going to be going to another specialist to see about possibly placing another fistula.
Hopefully we can get this graft working, but we may have to do a fistula.
Yep, so we will tackle that when we tackle it.
But the good news of the entire week is I have a pocket for bubblegum in my arm.
Yes, you have a pocket for bubblegum.
Yes.
So, all right, guys, this was Michael.
Christina.
And we will talk to you next week.
Bye, guys. Hey, guys. Welcome to Christina's Crazy Corner. So today we've got a crew. We have Tyler.
Hi.
And we also have Amber. Say hi,
Hello.
Amber. And then we have Clover.
Hi.
And Holston.
Hi.
We also have Nala. And Nala is not going to contribute very much because right now she's sleeping because she got spayed today. And Nala is the cutest little girl. Amber's going to post a picture on the page, so you all need to go and check it out. She's a little Pomsky, and she's the cutest thing ever.
We also got a stupid moose.
Oh, yeah. And Moose is here. Moose is here, huh, baby? He probably won't talk much either. He's sleeping. Okay, guys, here we go. Tyler, are you ready?
Alright, so today we're going to be talking to the craziest words in the English language.
Oh, okay.
That sounds interesting.
Some of them actually are centered around Shakespeare's gibberish.
Okay.
So to say.
That makes sense. It does make sense.
Yeah, it does.
So, one of the words is bumfuzzle.
Bumfuzzle.
You know who has bumfuzzles?
Scott does.
Pomskis. They have fuzzy butts.
They do. So what's the definition?
The definition is actually, it refers to being confused, perplexed, or flustered, or to cause confusion.
Yeah, never mind. Scott has bumfuzzle.
Yeah. I think that was right on. Okay, Ty, what's next?
Okay, the next word is cattywampus.
Cattywampus.
Cattywampus! I love this word.
I think
don't know
I've
if it
heard
means.
this, yeah.
Oh, wait. Doesn't it mean askew?
Yeah, like a mess. Like,
It means it's in disarray, that is askew, or something that isn't directly across from something.
cattywampus. I'm gonna use that.
I'm going to use it more often. It's my fave.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, so, Gardyloo.
Gardyloo. What? I'm guessing it's some type of like garland for Christmas.
It reminds me of a song. It reminds me of a trash can next to the loo.
Oh. That was kind of good.
Maybe a type of loo.
Okay, Ty.
So, this actually is a Scottish term.
Okay.
And the definition is a funny and gross one.
So kind of the garbage can.
This is what people living in Edinburgh shouted out their windows as a warning before dumping their slop buckets out of their windows.
Yes! It is a bucket next to the toilet, but it's not for garbage. It's for...
Wow, that was really close.
That was close.
All right. So the next word is taradiddle.
Taradiddle.
Taradiddle?
Taradiddle.
Taradiddle.
Taradiddle?
Is it a little amount? It's like, okay, you
The
can
Pokemon.
diddle,
It's a
tar.
Pokemon.
It's when someone writes in tar on the road.
Ooh. I thought it was something about like that or something.
What is it?
You guys are wrong.
We're wrong.
This word references someone or something that is filled with pretentious nonsense or something that is a lie.
Oh, whoa.
Whoa.
That's kind of heavy.
That is heavy.
Woo. Okay, Ty.
The next word is snickersnee.
Snickersnee. It sounds like you ate a snickerdoodle cookie and then you sneezed and you could, like, taste it in your nose.
Ah! You can't taste things in your nose, Mom.
Yeah, sometimes.
What kind of senses do you have?
I have extra spidey senses because I'm legally blind.
Yes. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. So, this word may sound funny to you guys, but it actually isn't.
Okay.
It is actually referring to a long, dangerous knife.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
It was first used in reference to cut and thrust fighting in the 1700s, and is still occasionally used when referencing the knife, though it is becoming more and more obsolete.
Wow. I was way off.
That's funny. Interesting.
That is interesting.
Alright, the next one is gubbins.
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 Oh, gubbins, like with a B.
Oh, gubbins.
Gubbins. It sounds like gummy bears that are in a bin. Like you buy them in a bin. Gubbins.
Ooh, I want some gubbins.
I know. Sounds delicious.
Okay, so.
So this word actually is an object that has little or no value, and it is also referring to a gadget or device.
Oh,
wow. Little to no value. My couch is a gubbins. Yeah, it's
I
a
think
gubbins.
there's value in a couch.
That's funny. Okay, Ty, you got more?
Yes, so this one we all know, lollygag.
Lollygag.
Lollygagging. I tell my kids they're lollygagging all the time.
Yeah, you're lollygagging. Get a moving.
It was messing or wasting time.
Yep.
Yes. Messing or wasting time.
I'm not messing or wasting time.
Not at the moment.
Sure.
But for some reason, when kids are getting ready for school, lollygagging comes into play.
Yes, often.
Yes, Clover, I'm talking to you.
What?
Yeah.
She might be the queen of lollygaggers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm the most lollygagging person ever. What? That's not the best thing to. Oh, no.
Non-lollygagging, huh?
Yeah.
It's debatable.
I get ready like instantly.
Well,
Sure.
as your mother, sure. But then there's other times when you're told to do chores that you may begin to lollygag around the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds fitting.
Yes.
All right. Next we have snollygoster.
Oh, you darn snollygoster. That sounds like a Harry Potter word. Snollygoster.
Sounds like something from like the 70s or 60s.
A snollygoster.
What does that mean?
From the 70s or 60s?
Why those decades?
What is it, Ty?
So,
yeah. I was going to say, listen up, you snollygaga.
snollygoster.
Snollygoster.
But you wouldn't want to call them that because this actually refers to politicians.
It is kind of 60s and 70s.
But this actually refers to politicians who does or says things for their own personal advancement instead of following their own principles.
Hello, 2022.
I know a few of those.
Yeah, we can't go with 60 or 70. We're going with now.
Yes.
All right, the next one is arenaceous.
Arenaceous.
Arenaceous. Does
Okay.
it mean like you have an air about something?
If you're arenaceous, then you're very, like, smart at airy things. That's what I'm going
Was
with.
your head in the clouds?
Yeah.
You guys are all wrong. You are so far off.
I thought it was like tasty air.
Toasty air. Okay, that one's out there.
It
So-
could be correct.
It actually means something or someone who resembles a hedgehog.
Oh my gosh.
What the?
I'm gonna start saying it to everyone.
I resemble a hedgehog. I'm arenaceous.
Yeah, you are.
All right, the next one is impignorate.
Oh.
What?
Impignorate.
That sounds like impregnating a pig.
Yeah, what are we doing to pigs?
Yeah, that sounds wrong.
Oh my gosh, it's like, that's bad. What is it, Ty?
It actually means to pawn or mortgage something.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, well, there's piggy banks. That's close.
I guess.
That might be a little bit of a stretch. Okay, Ty.
Okay, next
Yeah,
one
maybe.
is ratoon.
Ratoon. Okay, this is totally a half rat, half raccoon. A ratoon.
No, it's a rat making a tune.
What's a tune, honey?
Like music.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like cartoon. It could be a rat cartoon.
It could be.
Okay,
Or
what
like
is
you
it?
said, Raccoon. One of
So
my
you
favorite-
actually guessed what it said at the beginning, but it isn't correct. It says, "Don't worry, this isn't referring to a raccoon and rat mixed breed."
Ah!
So it is in fact referring to that small shoot or growth that comes from the root of a plant.
What?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Did they say raccoon?
With the teeny little
Raccoon.
Yeah, like when it starts growing.
must be.
I'm gonna use that one, like when I'm out and about with people. I'm gonna go to like Lowe's and I'm just gonna walk around in the garden area and just be like, "Did you see that raccoon?
Ratoon.
Ratoon? That ratoon right there. It's sturdy." Okay, Tyler, go before I say something dumb.
Okay. The next one is bloviate.
Oh, bloviate.
It sounds like you're bloated and your stomach becomes elevated from being so bloated, like bloviated.
Oh, she's bloviated. Okay, bloviated. I'm gonna go with you're blowing a bubble and it pops on your face, so it's bloviated on your face.
On your face.
So this actually means people who talk for a long period of time or who inflate their story to make themselves sound better.
Oh my gosh, I know like a billion of those people.
This also refers to someone whose words are empty and have no meaning.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, that one sounds mean. I don't know a million of them.
Could it be someone born in like the 40s or 50s? Possibly?
Do you want it to be?
I don't know. No, I'm joking. I don't
I
know.
was like, are you talking about your parents or something?
Anybody of any age.
I was gonna say. You're like going against 2 decades there. I'd be careful about that. You're gonna have to throw down with the 40s and 50s.
I love all my people who bloviate.
It sounds so bad. You should never say that again. Okay, Ty, go again.
Okay, so this next one is peculiquent.
Peculiquent?
Peculiquent.
Peculiquint. Okay, it's something that's peculiar. A quint. It's a peculiar small object. What do you guys got? Anything?
No. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, probably peculiar. Something peculiar. I would have guessed something along those same lines. Something peculiar object.
Okay. Here we go, Ty.
That actually means the opposite of the word I just said. It actually means you are a person of few words. It refers to someone who doesn't say much or who, when giving a speech, gives a very short one. This is a great way for you to tell people you are a person of few words.
Oh. Well.
Clover is like me.
Yeah, totally Clover. Okay, Ty, let's do one more.
All right. Let me see.
Get a good one.
Donnybrook.
Donnybrook?
Donnybrook.
Donnybrook. I'm saying it's like, you know how we do like the whole name things? How we put two names together now?
Oh, yeah.
It's a couple, Donnybrook. It's a couple of people.
Or maybe it's a jolly stream.
Oh.
Maybe Donnie's happy, and it's a Donnybrook.
Oh, okay. So it's a happy brook.
A bridge? I don't know.
A bridge?
Maybe Donnie is slow, and it's a slow stream.
Ooh.
Maybe it's a type of bridge? I don't know.
Okay, Ty, what is it?
So, this is a word that is meaning for an uprising, a melee, or a riot. It can also refer to an argument.
Okay.
That kind of fits the whole adding the names together, because they're going to argue.
Yes.
But also, if you search Google for this peculiar term, it will not only find the definition, but also learn that it's a place called Donnybrook, which is part of Dublin, Ireland.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
Well, it sounds lovely.
What was that in an accent?
I don't know, but I'm not good at accents
That's
at all.
not an Irish accent at all.
I can't do it. I can't, mate. What did that go?
It's a bit Scottish.
Okay, guys, no more accents. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
It was a good one.
Bye. Yep. Bye, guys.